Between Origins and Proving Grounds, we're getting just over 300 cards in Riftbound's opening weekend. But 31 of those cards need to be errata. That means that about 10% of cards will not have abilities that perfectly match what is written on them. So this might be the most important video you can watch before going to pick up your cards. With that said, today we are going over every single errata in the first set for Riftbound, and if you want to stay up to date with more Riftbound news and information, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in the game but maybe you don't know how to play yet, I have a full video that I can link in the description down below going over the entire rulebook. With all that being said though, let's get into the erratas. So we're going to be taking a look at the patch notes here, and we're going to be going over all of the cards' old effects and then their new effects so we can kind of compare them. Starting out with Ava Achiever. So originally this card said, when I attack, you can play a power to play a card with hidden from your hand here, ignoring its cost. Its new text says, when I attack, you can pay 1 power to play a card with hidden from your hand, ignoring its costs. If it's a unit, play it here. So essentially it's giving you some flexibility with the other types of cards, but it's only letting you play units in that specific location. Next up, we have Baited Hook, which is one of 4 cards where they're getting adjusted because they look at the top cards of the deck and then play cards from them. So starting with the old effect, we have 1 and a power, and exhaust this. Kill a friendly unit, look at the top 5 cards of your main deck. You may play a unit from among them that has might up to 1 more than the killed unit, ignoring its cost. Then recycle the rest. As for its new effect, it's going to say 1 and a power, exhaust it. Kill a friendly unit, look at the top 5 cards of your main deck. You may banish a unit from among them that has might up to 1 more than the killed unit and play it, ignoring its cost. Then recycle the rest. So for all these cards that look at the top cards of the deck, you're going to banish the card that you're selecting and then play it. And then if you can't play that card for whatever reason, it will just remain banished. And we're going to see almost the exact same thing with Blind Fury. The old text was, each opponent reveals the top card of their main deck, choose 1 and play it, ignoring its cost. The new text is just banish it and then play it. Clockwork Keeper is getting a bit of a clarity change. So the old text was, as you play me, you may pay a power as an additional cost. If you do, draw 1. The new text separates that, saying, you may pay a power as an additional cost to play me. When you play me, if you paid the additional cost, draw 1. This essentially just makes it a little bit easier to read. A pretty significant one is Convergent Mutation. The old text was, choose a friendly unit, increase its might until it equals the might of another friendly unit. That didn't used to say it was just for the turn. The new text clarifies that, saying choose a friendly unit. This turn, increase its might to the might of another friendly unit. So getting a recruit up to 7 attack is very different if that's an ongoing effect or just for the turn. This is a pretty massive change for the card. It is now infinitely worse, but infinitely more balanced, in my opinion. Our first legend on this list will be Annie Darkchild, the old text of which said, at the end of your turn, ready 2 runes. The new text is ready up to 2 runes. We're going to see this a couple times throughout here, basically giving you the option to do less if you would like, or if you're unable to do the full amount. It's pretty simple clarification, makes the card a little bit more flexible, just good to have on there. Dazzling Aurora is another card that looks at the top set of the deck, so we're going to be having the same effect as the last 2. The old text, at the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your main deck until you reveal a unit, play it, ignoring its costs, and recycle the rest. The new text, at the end of your turn, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a unit and banish it, play it, ignoring its costs, recycle the rest. Same thing, we're just adding in that banish effect. Disintegrate, a bit of clarity text change again. I'm not crazy about this one. I think it's a little bit overkill, but the effect is deal 3 damage to a unit at a battlefield. If this kills it, draw 1. It now says, if this kills it, do this, draw 1, which I don't know if that one was super necessary, but sure. We actually have almost the same thing being done with Dragon's Rage. The old text was, move an enemy unit, then choose another enemy unit at its destination. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. The new text says, move an enemy unit, then do this. Choose another enemy at the destination. They deal damage equal to their might to each other. We have another this turn effect with Doomdrake, as the old text says, when I attack, give me 2 might if there is a ready enemy unit here. Now it says, give me 2 might this turn if there is a ready enemy unit here. The old effect might be read as the ability would stack every time this happens, So this is a good change. Highlander, we got a signature card here. So the old text, choose a friendly unit. The next time it dies this turn, recall it exhausted instead. Send it to the base. This isn't a move. What's happening here is that we're going to add a new term to this card, as heal wasn't a term in the game before this, but we're going to be adding it going forward. We're going to see that on a couple cards. So for example, this one says choose a friendly unit. The next time it would die this turn, heal it, exhaust it, and recall it instead. Send it to the base. This isn't a move. So not only is it important that we're adding that word heal, which wasn't in the game before, but it's important that we're healing the unit, because if it died from damage, that damage would still technically be on it, even if it was removed and sent back to the base. So in this way, it goes back to full health, and then it goes back to the base, so it doesn't die again there. Karma Channeler gets a bit of a clarification change. The original one was when you recycle one or more cards, buff a friendly unit. If it didn't have a buff, it gets a 1 might buff. Runes aren't considered cards. The new text says when you recycle one or more cards to your main deck, buff a friendly unit, and then all the same stuff. So we are just clarifying that it needs to be a main deck card that is being recycled. I'm not sure why we still have runes aren't cards on this version. I feel like that's maybe detail overkill, but it's fine. Kinku Monk is kind of a change like Annie Darkchild had. The old text was when you play me, buff 2 other friendly units. The new one is buff up to 2 friendly units. So if you don't have 2 that you can target, this is still fine. Nocturne Horrifying is another card that's going to be affected by the banishing cards that are revealed thing. So it used to be when you look at cards from the top of your deck and don't draw them, and you see me, you may play me for a power of any color. Now it says, as you look at or reveal me from the top of your deck, you may banish me. If you do, you may play me for 1 power of any color. So a bit of a wording change all the way across there, but I do think it's a lot easier to understand this way. Pack of Wonders gets a bit of a change here. It used to be exhaust it, return another friendly gear, unit, or hidden card to its owner's hand. Now, instead of the word hidden being there, we're getting a face down card. I think this is just maybe more open-ended for changes in the future if we have other types of face down cards. But in general, this shouldn't be much of a difference in game-to-game situations. Portal Rescue has a pretty big logistic change. It used to say banish a friendly unit, then play it to base, ignoring its cost. Now it says banish a friendly unit, then its owner plays it to their base, ignoring its cost. So if for whatever reason you have control of another person's card and you use Portal Rescue on it, they will return it to their base. You will not return it to your base. Pretty big nerf to the card in any decks that want to steal cards from the opponent, but probably for the best. Promising Future, another one of those banishing cards from the top of the deck thing. Used to say each player looks at the top 5 cards of their main deck, chooses 1, recycles the rest. Starting with the next player, each player plays these cards, ignoring their energy costs. Now it says each player looks at the top 5 cards of their main deck, banishes 1 of them, then recycles the rest. Starting with the next player, each player plays those cards, ignoring energy costs. And this is a good example of why this kind of change needed to happen. Because if you look at the old text, it says recycles the rest, which means you're not recycling the one that you would have chosen. So what happens if you choose not to play it or you can't play it? It just floats in limbo. Does it go to the trash? Does it go to the banish? Whatever. So now we have this clarity on those cards do get banished first, and you have the opportunity to play them. It makes a lot more sense. It's way more clear. Ravenborn Tome, another this turn effect is being added because it was kind of nuts otherwise. The old text was to exhaust it, the next spell you play deals 1 bonus damage. The new text, the next spell you play this turn deals 1 bonus damage. Potentially the old text would have said that you could basically stack up extra damage and then fire off 1 big spell whenever you were ready to do so. Obviously not what was intended, so good change. Salvage gets a little bit more flexible here. It used to say you may kill a gear, draw 1. Now it says you may kill up to 1 gear, draw 1. So if you're playing against someone who doesn't have any gear in their deck, you can still use Salvage as a way to cycle a card at the very least, and it's not totally worthless in your hand. Our first battlefield on the list is Sigil of the Storm. Used to say when you conquer here, recycle 1 of your runes. Now it says when you conquer here, you must recycle 1 of your runes. This doesn't choose anything. So it's not saying that the battlefield is choosing which rune or it's randomly selected. You still get to choose which of your runes will be recycled, and it is a must effect. Just a couple things being clarified. Another one of these up 2 cards is Sona Harmonious. While I'm at a battlefield, ready 4 friendly runes at the end of your turn. Now it says, at the end of your turn, if I'm at a battlefield, ready up to 4 friendly runes. Same thing with Annie Darkchild, giving it that up to effect just adds clarity, because maybe some people thought that if you didn't have 4 runes that you could ready, this wouldn't be able to activate. So now we just know that we can. Pretty much the exact same thing with another battlefield here with Targon's Peak. Used to say when you conquer here, ready 2 runes at the end of this turn. Now it's ready up to 2 runes instead. Teemo Strategist. Used to say when I defend or I'm played from hidden, reveal the top 5 cards of your main deck, deal 1 damage to an enemy unit here for each card with hidden, then recycle them. The new text says when I defend, choose an enemy unit here, and reveal the top 5 cards of your main deck. Deal 1 damage to that unit for each card with hidden revealed this way, then recycle the revealed cards. A lot more clear, the old way that it was read could be interpreted as you're dealing 1 damage to an enemy unit here each time you show a hidden card. Now it's saying you're picking 1 unit, it's getting all of the damage. Another legend, we have Sett the Boss. The old one was when the buffed unit you control would die, you can pay a power and exhaust me to spend its buff and recall it exhausted instead. Same as before, we're going to be adding that heal word in here. This way the unit's not dying as you bring it back to your base. Pretty straightforward. The Dreaming Tree, another battlefield. The old text was the first time you choose a friendly unit with a spell here each turn, draw 1 card. The new text is when a player chooses a friendly unit with a spell here for the first time each turn, they draw 1. I think the old effect kind of implied that the person controlling the battlefield would have the effect. Now, if someone's in a showdown and they're using things on their own cards, they still get that draw as well. Much better card. The Siren has a bit of a change as well. Used to say 1 and exhaust it to move a friendly unit at a battlefield to your base. Now it says to its base instead. I don't know how this would be functionally different. It's not saying its owner's base. So I'm not entirely sure what the difference here is. Maybe you can clarify it in the comments down below for me if you know why. The Tide Turner used to say, when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit, move me to its location, and it to my original location. Now, when you play me, you may choose a unit you control at another location, move me to its location, and it to my original location. Essentially, the effect is to switch spots with another card, and if both cards are at the same spot, switching doesn't matter. So now it's clarifying that they have to be at different locations. Our last legend for the video here is going to be Yasuo Unforgiven. The old text says pay 2 and exhaust, move a friendly unit to or from your base. Now it says move a friendly unit to or from its base. Same as the Siren, I guess. Again, don't know what the difference is. I'm noticing that on a lot of these cards it says that it only differs for English versions as well, so I'm not sure why that's also in common. Let me know. Getting close to the end here with Unlicensed Armory. Originally, discard 1 and exhaust it. Choose a friendly unit. The next time it dies, you may pay 1 power to recall it exhausted instead. Essentially the exact same change that Sett had. You're going to heal it and then recall it. Our last battlefield will be the Void Gate. Originally, spells and abilities affecting units here each deal 1 bonus damage. And the new text says spells and abilities deal 1 bonus damage to units here. Just clarifying how it's going to affect the spells that are being cast. Our last card will be Zonia's Hourglass. The old text was the next time a friendly unit would die, kill this instead, recall that unit exhausted. Same as Sett. If that friendly unit would die, kill this instead, heal that unit, exhaust it, and recall it. All the same. All in all, a lot of these erratas aren't super big changes. They're mostly just there for clarity, but the big takeaway is going to be how interacting with cards that you reveal from the top of your deck works. With how Doomdrake moves, because it's not getting that permanent +2, same with Ravenborn Tome. How Convergent Mutation works, because that's very different. And then we're adding in that heal effect for a lot of these cards as well, because otherwise they would just die again. But yeah, pretty straightforward for most of them. Let me know your thoughts on any of these and if they fundamentally change how these cards work, or if you think they're better or worse in the comments down below. For now, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.